Can you get firearms training, survival training, or even tactic training from people on YouTube? People like Mike Jones from Grantham or John Lovell from Warrior Poet Society? Let's discuss. Recently, I had two different friends ask me about two different YouTube channels and said, hey, do you know these YouTube channels? Are they worth following? And one is Grantham with Mike Jones, former Air Force veteran, I believe, or a current Air Force veteran. And the other is a YouTube channel called Warrior Poet Society with John Lovell, who's a former Army Ranger. They asked me due to the fact that I was previously in the military and formerly a federal law enforcement officer, and they just wanted to get my perspective on these YouTube channels. So I dove into the YouTube channels and said, hey, let me take a look. I'll get back to you guys and let you know what my personal opinion is on the matter. So I'm diving into it, new to the media scene, new to the YouTube scene and everything along those lines. And I'm watching videos from both Grantham and Warrior Poet Society. And then I kind of linked the two, and I was talking to both buddies at the same time about the two, and they said, well, which one would you choose? And I found that to be a counterintuitive question. And the reason for that is I think both of them are absolutely great YouTube channels for people if they want to learn about their personal and public safety measures. Now, Grantham tends to focus more on the survival tactical side of things. They both do firearm reviews, things along those lines, but Grantham, in my opinion, is more of the survival type mindset and maybe kind of off the grid, or maybe an apocalyptic event type issue. However, he does a lot of ballistic testing and a lot of just fun stuff. Whereas Warrior Poet Society, on the other hand, is with John Lovell, and he does a more urban style tactical scenarios where he teaches individuals how to handle single man entries and things along those lines from what I was seeing on their YouTube channels. I think these two, one's not better than the other in my opinion. And I say that for the fact that there's actually differences. You may not initially notice that at first, depending on your background with firearms or with training. But I will say this, if both of these highly qualified and trained individuals, and based on just my simple Google search of their bios, if both of these individuals are preaching training, well, shoot, I'm right behind them on that, and that's what I preach too. Training is probably where you're at. As I said with Mike Jones off of Grantham, he tends to really push the physical fitness and survival training, where John Lovell from Warrior Poet Society really pushes understanding the tactics, the mindset, physical fitness as well, but he's pushing the knowledge of operating your equipment, whether that be your firearm or your IFAK, and they both overlap. So that's kind of why I was asked to compare the two. I'm not picking one or the other. So if you thought I'd pick one or the other, sorry, I'm not going to. I think you should follow and watch both of them because they both have great information, and it never hurts to compare different aspects from different instructors. The main reason is you can always learn something, even if you have this one great instructor that you follow and you're religiously with them and you're just, hey, this is my guy or gal, doesn't matter. And you're saying, this is the person I want to follow. I link with them, I mesh, like I have the same personality. Great. Follow that person, do that. But don't limit yourself in that aspect. Anyway, getting back to it. So here's what I think of their platforms, or I shouldn't say platforms, their videos. I don't know the term I'm looking for. It doesn't matter. Let's go with Warrior Poet Society with John Lovell. He has these hilarious intros and a lot of cinematography is built into it, and I believe he's even started his own kind of network at this point. And when I say network, I mean like TV network, because he's just tired of being kind of bogged down, I guess, by big tech and social media, as he puts it, and things along those lines. So he started his own TV network, and he's just running and gunning on that. And he's got a bunch of different people in that, from what I know. I'm not affiliated with his network. I don't know. Wouldn't it hurt to get a subscription and see what he's got on there? Or I haven't looked into it, so I don't know if it's paid or not. Sorry. But so he's got that on there, and it's hilarious. I mean, if you watch his intros, just his intros alone are worth watching, because they're hilarious. And it doesn't matter if you're prior military or not. Actually, I like both of these two for the civilian aspect, because they're relatable. Both of them are great host personalities, and they're super relatable. They're able to bring you in, which is why they have so many followers and subscribers. And they deliver education and quality, the most that you can deliver over online and over video training, or just YouTube videos, things along those lines. So anyway, back to Warrior Poet Society. Intros are hilarious. Goes into depth on some things, makes fun of a few other things, and his constantly telling everyone, hey, I'm not perfect. Very definitely humble in that respect, that he says, hey, I'm not perfect. My way might not work for you, but then also doesn't care about what you're saying. At least his persona does. I don't know what he is behind scenes. I've never met the gentleman. Looks like a guy I would enjoy talking with, and from behind the scenes, or I'm sorry, from the video, not from behind the scenes, doesn't care about what you say on the comment section. Says, hey, I'm going to kick back and have some popcorn and watch this dumpster fire of a comment section, and y'all have fun. And I guess with him, the best part is he realizes every time you comment, it's just feeding the algorithm for his videos. So I guess bash him all you want. You're only helping him in the end. But he has good information, and he's putting out quality stuff out there. From my professional and personal opinion, he's putting out quality information out there. And he's got just a natural way of dealing with people, or just coming across the camera as very personable. I love it. It's a great channel. Go over to YouTube, subscribe to Warrior Poet Society. Once again, not affiliated with them whatsoever, but subscribe to this channel too. Please subscribe to this channel, but subscribe over there too. Now, going over to Mike Jones, I'm not sure if he's currently in the military or a veteran. I know he was in the Air Force. Once again, just quick little Google bios. I didn't dive too deep into these gentlemen, but he runs Grantham, which is just a common term for a lot of people in the military who are ever familiar with the M1 Garand, where it's pretty much getting your finger stuck in the bolt or breech or whatever when it slams shut on you. Improper locking or operator errors most of the time. Anyway, so he, on one hand, is just funny, just an all-around like funny person. He starts off every episode with his sponsors. Now, he doesn't monetize his channel, where Warrior Poet Society does, I think. I'm pretty sure they do. Grantham does not monetize his channel, but he does have channel sponsors, so he hits on them, but he does it in a very casual way, and it just comes across as funny. Same with Warrior Poet Society. I know I'm bouncing back here, but Warrior Poet Society does the same thing. I think their biggest sponsor is Sportsman Guide. Yeah, Sportsman Guide, which I love them too. They're great. But they're his biggest sponsor, and he hits on them, and they do some funny stuff with his co-host over there. It's great. Back to Grantham. Now, he doesn't have as much cinematography, and I kind of like that about it, although Warrior Poet Society, like I said, it looks great, but it's very commercialized, in my opinion. Where Grantham, it's very direct to the point. It's definitely kind of commercialized. He's definitely got high quality gear that he's running over there, or appears to be high quality gear. He gets a lot of a lot of firearms and does a lot of demos and things along that. I see him do a lot with like ballistic gels, testing different body armor and different things such as that. But his intros are pretty funny. He always calls out like one group, and he always makes a point to remember one group, or whether it's Marines or Armies or M1 Grand users, doesn't matter. He has that whole thing, and it's kind of his signature. Warrior Poet Society has their signature with their intros, and he has his own signature, but comes across as a funny guy, and once personal as well, same as John Lovell. And it's entertainment with education, and that's what both of these gentlemen are, in my opinion. Both these guys are entertainment with education, and that's a good combination to have, especially with how many new firearm owners we have in the world today, and especially just in the U.S. I really like both of these channels. I'm subscribing and following both these channels now just because they're funny. Now, I've watched a bunch of their videos and seen their progress and things along those lines. I've seen kind of their first videos and watched their newest stuff, and they've definitely grown, and they both have, I guess, media teams now and videographers, and they're definitely doing some great stuff. Raw wise, Grantham takes the cake on that. Warrior Poet Society seems to be more commercialized. However, it's not lacking in anything. It's very funny, and it's very one-on-one, both with Mike Jones and John Lovell. So if asking for my personal or professional opinion, because that's all you're getting at this point, yeah, follow both of them. Follow both of them. Follow this channel too. Subscribe, please subscribe. I'm trying to build this up as we go now, but yeah, they both really harp on training. You can have all the fancy equipment in the world, if you can't use it, or you can't use it effectively, it means absolutely nothing. I do appreciate Mike Jones' push for fitness. I think that's very important. I'm a big push for fitness, and even with someone with disabilities or things along that line, doesn't mean you still can't work on something. The world is just blown up and expanded, and you can get a personal trainer over YouTube or whatever over the internet these days that can specifically identify your disability and get training on that, or physical fitness training on that. So do that. Whereas you take John Lovell, and he's harping more on the tactics, knowing how to utilize your equipment effectively. And I'll jump back to Mike Jones, and he's saying, hey, know how to use your equipment effectively, but at the same time, you better know what to do if you're stuck out in the woods, or you're stuck out in the mountains, or you're urban survival. I saw one of his videos on that, and they go over slick setup. It's fantastic. Follow both of them. Speaking of training, down below we have free training for you if you're a civilian or law enforcement. First of all, we have a bunch of free training down below, but sign up for our 2-day e-training course, virtual training, laser training. I don't care what you want to call it. It's very simple. It costs you nothing. It's free. My gift to you. Training below. Just download it, and you'll be able to do some nice laser training in the comfort of your own home with your actual firearm. So no excuse to why you're not training. As always, stay safe. Hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.